The Army truck survived sustained gunfire, a jump that launched it roughly 15 feet into the air, and a high-speed collision used to push a police cruiser into an explosion. It was then driven into a gas station and deliberately set on fire. The same vehicle endured each of these events during a single production in 1982. This was not a reinforced stunt chassis. It was an M35 military cargo truck, a Vietnam-era 2.5-ton transport purchased from a logging company for a few $1,000s. The production subjected it to repeated impacts and a large-scale explosion. The vehicle continued operating through each sequence until it was intentionally destroyed as part of the scene. The climax of First Blood follows John Rambo after he escapes from a collapsed mine and commandeers the military transport on a highway. The truck carries an M60 machine gun and ammunition. He drives toward the town of Hope, Washington, intending to confront the police department that had previously detained and mistreated him. The production acquired 4 M35 trucks. One of them was used for the most demanding sequences, filmed over the course of a single night. In the roadblock sequence, the truck approaches a police barricade at highway speed. The barrier consists of wooden sawhorses, patrol cars, and armed officers. The vehicle does not slow before impact. It strikes the barricade and becomes airborne, rising approximately 15 to 20 feet. Upon landing, the force of the impact is visible. The gas tank separates from the frame, and the windshield, already shattered by gunfire, is completely blown out. The front end is heavily damaged. The engine remains operational, and the vehicle continues forward. A 13,000-pound truck colliding at roughly 50 miles per hour would typically risk severe structural failure. Frame damage, steering loss, or suspension collapse would be expected outcomes. The M35 was originally engineered for military service in Vietnam, designed to endure extreme conditions. In this case, the structure remained intact, allowing the vehicle to continue moving under its own power. The truck is pursued by a police cruiser. The truck makes lateral contact with the cruiser, pushing it sideways into a parked vehicle on the shoulder of the road. The parked car had been rigged with pyrotechnics. On impact, it detonates in a controlled explosion. The cruiser overturns, and both officers inside are killed within the narrative of the film. The truck absorbs the side impact at approximately 40 miles per hour and continues forward without stalling. The frame, steering, and suspension remain functional. By this point, the vehicle shows extensive damage. The gas tank is barely attached, and the front assembly is compromised. Mechanical systems are likely under strain. Rather than attempting to preserve the truck, the character directs it toward a final objective. The truck enters the center of town and drives directly into the gas station pump island at speed. The collision ruptures fuel lines beneath the pumps. Gasoline spreads across the concrete surface. The vehicle comes to rest, and the engine finally stops. The M60 machine gun is removed from the rear before the scene continues. Fuel ignites shortly afterward. Flames spread across the forecourt toward the disabled truck. The fire reaches the damaged gas tank, and the station erupts in a large explosion. The pump island and adjacent structure are destroyed. The blast creates a barrier of fire across the roadway, preventing immediate pursuit. The truck is consumed in the explosion and rendered inoperable within the narrative. The sequence portrays a deliberate use of a damaged military vehicle to trigger a secondary explosion. The placement of the crash and ignition point determines the scale of destruction shown on screen. The vehicle remains functional until it is intentionally sacrificed. The sequence was filmed in Hope, British Columbia in late 1981. The gas station was a constructed set, built outside the main town area to allow for a controlled demolition without damaging existing property. The stunts, including the jump, collisions, and fire effects, were performed with practical methods. Stunt driver Benny Dobbins executed the roadblock jump. On the first attempt, he sustained a compression lumbar fracture. The landing proved too severe for use in the final cut, and the jump was performed again. The second take appears in the film and includes the visible separation of the gas tank. The same truck was later used in the gas station explosion sequence. The production acquired 4 M35 trucks in total. 2 came from a local artillery unit, and 2 were purchased from the logging company Macmillan Bloedel, where they had been stored for more than a decade. After the airborne jump and subsequent impacts, reported damage to the primary truck included the grille, gas tank, and suspension. As part of the filming arrangements, 3 of the trucks were transferred to local property owner Don Harris as partial compensation for land use. One of the vehicles allocated to him had been used in the gas station sequence and was burned during filming. The decision to destroy that particular truck was made to achieve the required shot. Following production, the burned truck was inspected. Repairs included replacing a front tire, rebuilding the charred interior components, and installing a new wiring harness. The structural frame remained intact and the engine continued to function. The vehicle was subsequently sold to the Deka Lake Fire Department in British Columbia. It served as a primary water tanker for approximately 20 years. During that period, it operated in emergency conditions, transported large volumes of water, and navigated unpaved terrain. The same truck that appeared in the film remained in active service. The M35 cargo truck was developed in the 1950s as a tactical transport platform for the United States military. It was powered by a 127-horsepower inline 6-cylinder engine paired with a 5-speed manual transmission and a 2-speed transfer case. The chassis used solid steel I-beam construction. Suspension consisted of leaf springs at both front and rear axles. The design emphasized durability and field repair using basic tools. When these trucks were declared surplus in the 1970s, they were sold at low cost due to obsolescence. Civilian buyers included logging operations, fire departments, and rural municipalities. Many remained in operation for decades. The vehicle used in First Blood demonstrated the resilience of the design under extreme mechanical stress. Within roughly 8 minutes of screen time, the truck is hijacked, driven through a police barricade, launched airborne, involved in a high-speed lateral collision, operated with a damaged fuel system, and intentionally crashed into gas pumps before being set on fire. All of these events were achieved through practical stunt work without digital compositing. The vehicle did not experience spontaneous mechanical failure during the sequence. It was deliberately destroyed as part of the script. The stunt driver sustained serious injury during production, while the truck itself remained repairable. First Blood was released in October 1982 and ranked as the 13th highest-grossing film of that year. The performance by Sylvester Stallone is widely recognized, as is the concluding speech. The truck sequence also became a notable example of large-scale practical stunt execution. The roadblock jump and gas station explosion have been referenced in subsequent action films and parodies. The M35 truck, though unnamed within the story, came to represent mechanical durability. After filming, it transitioned from a cinematic prop to a working emergency vehicle, extending its service life well beyond its intended role in the film. The documented sequence shows a Vietnam-era military cargo truck purchased at low cost enduring gunfire, a 15-foot airborne jump, multiple collisions, operation with a compromised gas tank, and a controlled explosion. The stunt driver required hospitalization. The truck was later repaired and placed into service with a fire department, where it operated for 2 decades. The production constructed sets and coordinated controlled demolitions to achieve the required visuals. The vehicle's continued operability after repeated impacts reflects its original military engineering. Even after being burned on camera, it was restored and returned to functional duty. If you value detailed examinations of practical stunt work and the engineering behind these vehicles, consider joining the channel membership program. Members receive access to exclusive analyses and have the opportunity to vote on which vehicles and sequences will be covered in future episodes.